We're live. What's going on, Jennifer
Good
Lacey?
morning, Desi. How are you?
Oh, I'm about as good as I look, and that's pretty damn good. How's your week? How's the cold front affecting you, Jen?
Um, I mean, it's been interesting because when I traveled this week, so I was when I started counting it, I'd been in like 5 different states, even though I don't feel like I'd done 5 different states worth of work, but I'd been in 5 different states between job sites and some other things this week. So the cold was like it was cool, then it was colder, then it was warm. I mean, it was so the temperature wasn't that big a deal this for me this week because I've hit kind of lots of different temperatures.
Yeah. I feel you. Well, I've been in San Antonio for like I don't know 3 weeks
I know
in a
you haven't
row.
traveled in a while.
Yeah, and it's been good. I've been tinkering around and getting some stuff done, making some real progress. Excited for the wave of workshops, time management for
Oh yeah, you got a
construction
lot of stuff coming up.
coming up. So that's going to be. I'm stoked for that.
Yes.
Anyways, we're waking up a bunch of people this Saturday, uh,
Yes.
and this is the question: where does this come from, Jen? Like, come on, why are you stirring it up?
Well, some of you saw, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you saw my post had something to do with this a little bit. But Jesse and I were talking. So again, I had a crazy week. It was all over the place, doing a lot of things. And we know in this industry, there's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of things that you and I work very hard to help alleviate things that are hurting people. I mean,
Yes.
we whether it's mentally, physically, whatever it is, we do a lot to try to help call attention to it, but also how can we make it better? But it was an interesting thought as I was finishing up a very, I'm going to say grueling travel, lots of commitments week. And I was on an airplane flying home and I was exhausted. Like I was just like, I don't know if I have anything else in me. And I felt so fulfilled and so like just so much that I had gotten to do and impact. And I felt so good about it. But it was just like, but I was so tired. And then you and I had a conversation around like, we've been in those places where we're just drained and we're just, I'm gonna say miserable, but you're just in a point to where you're just like, I can't
Spend.
do this. I'm just not okay. But then that to me, it was the difference of me being there and being drained almost, but like so fulfilled. And so like, I had just felt so good about what I had just done. And we were like, oh, like let's pull that string a little bit because that's a different conversation. So that's where this came from.
Yes. And when you and I were talking, well, you know what? We got some early risers.
Come on. Yes, good morning.
Got Miss Sarah Gonella. She said, good morning, No BS Tribe. I'm doing some self-care today, so I'll be getting them. Nice. Hope you have a great show. Hope you have a great massage, Miss Sarah. Yes. And then we got Mr. Old Faithful here, Mr. Jim. He said, good morning. All right, so back to what we're talking about. Like you and I started talking about this, and I'm like, oh man, like I went into like flashback mode. I went back into the past of all the times when people have told me you're gonna die alone, you're never gonna have anybody, you work too much, all of those things. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you think I'm miserable? I'm loving it. Yes. And then the contrast of there were times where I'm like, yeah, you're right. This sucks. And so it became this thing of like, I know how to work hard, right? I know how to put my head down and make shit happen. And I've done it in situations where it's reinvigorating. And I've done it in situations where it's just totally depleting. And I was like, oh yeah, we got to talk about this for sure. Most importantly, so that, the tribe members, the lurkers out there kind of get a framework, because it's and one of our questions today is going to really poke at this. It's very easy to confuse that really negative situation with something noble. And that's exactly where I was back in the day. And so look, we got another early riser.
Good morning. Yes. Good morning, Steve.
Here. It's snowing in Connecticut. He's got the coffee mug. Of course he does. So we're going to get into it. But Jen, let's do the housekeeping, please.
Housekeeping. Yes. Okay. So if you are out there and we're just popping across your feed and you're wondering who we are and what the heck's going on, I'm talking to you. Also, those of you that maybe show up every so often on a Saturday morning and you just kind of sit back and listen to the antics that are going on the screen, talking to you too. And also those of you that, maybe you're trying to figure some things out, all of you. If this is the first time that you've seen us or you've been watching us, but you haven't really contributed to the conversation, you haven't typed anything, made a comment, things like that, our ask is that if you will go into the chat and just put a blue heart. That's all you have to do, because one, we don't know you're there unless you comment. The other is once you put a blue heart, we can recognize you and say hi, but then all of our tribe now and those that watch it later on the replay also get to see who you are. And then they get to connect with you, engage with your content, and they get to kind of, bring you into our tribe. So the ask is please just put a blue heart, let us know you're there, say hi. And then if you do have answers to the questions, please put those in the chat, because that also helps us as we are, talking about this and having the conversation, because then it brings in other perspectives. And when you comment, what happens, Jesse?
Well, for everybody that comments, just like Miss Shelley,
yes,
coming in from YouTube land, that just gave us
yes, I got lots of blue hearts. Thank you so much.
Yep. Your name gets thrown into the randomizer. And so at the top of the hour, what we'll do, it's a little raffle. We'll run the randomizer. And if your name gets selected, you get a 1-month pass to Emotional Bungee Jumpers and the Cultivation Crew.
Yes.
And I know those names probably don't mean anything to you, but what we're doing there is we're helping build the skills of communication and connection.
Yes.
So that you can kick ass at your work, at home, and in all the worlds that you roam. So, but you got it, just like Angela. And another thing, folks, I know Jen said it, but I'm going to make it super, super clear. The blue heart means I want to connect. Let's build. This is a community thing. We are better together. As one grows, we all grow. And so if you see a blue heart, that's an invitation for you to go and, do a connection request or friend request or whatever the hell deal you're on. And so, all right. So we got it. We got Miss Shelley. We're going to have some fun.
I know, right?
Yes, absolutely. So should we just start with the first question?
Just throw them in, Jesse, because sometimes we tiptoe, we dip the toe in. I think today we're just going to throw them in the water and they're going to have to figure out how to not drown, and we're going to help them. Let's do it.
All right. So here's the first question, folks. So this is for you guys out there in the Omniverse. Jen and I are going to talk about it, but we want to know, how do you distinguish between hard work that fuels you and hard work that drains you, that makes your energy battery go right? How do you distinguish? What's the difference? How do you look at it? What are the contributing factors? All of those things. What is it? Jen, do you have an example to help out?
Well, I'm going to say the easy one for me is when I finish, am I just so ready to get done? Am I ready to just get it out of my head, walk away from it, leave it there? It's almost like the image of, some of you've seen it, where there's everything's blowing up in the background and you're just kind of walking away from it. Okay, I'm done with it. Okay. That to me is it didn't do anything but just check a box versus I'm excited for what's next, or I'm excited to get up in the morning. And usually my commitments are not a 1 day, one decision commitment. So it's usually a project or something like that. And when I'm up in the morning, knowing it's going to be a tough day, it's going to be a hard day, I got a lot on my plate. I may not even be able to make all my phone calls because I got this, and this. Let's go. When I feel that, and again, I feel that a lot, those of you that are around me, then it's where I'm supposed to be. It's the work I'm supposed to be doing. And it's filling me and energizing me to be able to keep going, even if I'm going to be tired.
I like that. So general, the experience, right? The feeling, the sensation it gives you is, man, do I like it? Miss Linda. Welcome, Linda.
Hello, Linda. Is Linda Blue Heart or not?
I think Linda's a Blue Heart. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay,
maybe
I don't know.
not.
Linda, if it's your first time typing, please put Blue Heart, but welcome.
Yes. She says, do I get to or do I have to? Which I think I love that because that's a super simple framework. Yes versus, oh God, why response.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add to that because I know for me, like, a lot of this stuff is really, my mindset makes a huge difference about things. And so I watch my language. I try to pay attention to it. And when I'm saying I have to do, like the gym, I have to go get my swimming in, that out of my mouth makes it a little bit heavier. I get to go makes it a little bit lighter. And so it's kind of contradictory to what we're talking about today. But I will say this. I know that when I change my perspective to I get to, it makes the stinky thing a little less stinky, right? So that I can at least get it done. But back to like evaluating the work that we have in front of us, that either it's helping us or hurting us, is it like sucking the life out of me? And so for me, man, we got a bunch of people coming in. I love this. For me, it really is hard work that fuels me. The easiest way I can put that in a bucket is when I'm serving people, when I'm serving others, doing things to help make their day better, whatever that is. That type of work fuels me.
I like that. No, I like that a lot. Yes.
Now, doing work that's like on the job description, typically, maybe that's another way to look at it. The job, when I had a real job, the stuff that was on the job description, that was the stuff that drained me. Like, okay, I got to do this. I got to go to meetings. I got to, have the calls. I got to do the performance management. I got to write people up. Like all of those things was like, oh, I do not like this. And I could do it, but it just drained my energy, which I think the important thing is that it's not sustainable, right? Like staying in that space of doing work that doesn't fuel me. It was like a never ending trap. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I think you said the way you said it, but to me, the word in my mind is the balance. And we're going to dig into that word a little bit, but the balance of, for me, it's like the behind my screen, doing the stuff I need to do here and going and traveling and being in spaces with people and connecting with people that, that are helping me with what I'm trying to do. Like there's my purpose outside of maybe this computer. For me, that the balance is there. It's that if I have a 2 or 3 weeks where I'm just doing this, that's when I start feeling heavy and I start feeling like, okay, my purpose and what am I doing? And am I impacting the things that I'm supposed to impact? And so for me, I found when I have the balance, I don't feel that way in front of the screen because I'm getting the balance of the interaction with the people and being able to kind of touch and feel and see things that are happening out there. So that's, even though balance, I know for us is a weird word, but that's to me where I feel it.
Yeah, we'll get into the balance idea, but what I heard you say sounds the way I can reconcile that in my head is the mix.
Yes.
You got to have a mix of high contact, human contact, and then, the digital world that we that work has turned into for a lot of us. Oh my God. Okay. So first we got Mr. Denver back again. Denver. How you doing, brother? And then we got this troublemaker, Miss Cindy.
Hello.
She says hashtag let's connect. So you already know, go connect with Cindy. And then we got Linda saying, I'm in, but what is this Blue Heart thing?
I love you, Linda. Thank you. Blue Heart is just that you're new to the group, and it lets everyone know that you're new, so they can connect with you. So it's no big commitment. So don't worry about it. But the bungee jumping stuff, we'll talk about later.
That is so awesome. I love it. And thank you for the question, Linda. It's super, super helpful. We also got Milo Franco coming in from YouTube. Says good morning. Is it Mr. Milo?
I think so.
I think it is.
Yes.
That's the thing I don't like about YouTube is like can't see that, but it's fine. Yes. And then Steve Martin, I think this is another nice little framework, right? If it's on hashtag trajectory towards better, it fuels my soul.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
And so I think the main point, folks, that like the whole purpose of this question is, do you even distinguish? Right? Because
right. Some people just get up and go, and then they go to bed at night, and then they get up the next day, and they're just like, this is my job. This is what I have to do. And I'm just going to keep doing it. Because you said you kind of lived in a world like that, right?
I have. And it was before I had these beautiful that Josh Young is calling out. I'm coming to get her, Josh. I'm coming to get her with the long hair. But I think that takes us to our next question. What do you think?
Okay. Let's see.
So here is the next question. Have you confused emptiness with loyalty and commitment?
Jesse, you're just ripping off the Band-Aid. So one, please give some background. So we just got to feeling energized and excited, which Jesse and I show up a lot like that, versus draining, just like, oh gosh, I have to do this kind of thing. So again, thanks for the comments. Please continue to add those. But Jesse, where did this question come from with loyalty and commitment and towing the line? Sometimes is what we say we have to do, but then what is the result of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things, and particularly I experienced this confusion when I was a superintendent. When I was a foreman, maybe a little bit, but not so much. When I was an installer, I wasn't even thinking about this. But when I was a superintendent, that was the space where, in terms of this idea of confusing emptiness with loyalty and commitment, man, I'm competitive. I'm gonna win, or I'm gonna die trying, right? I'm just gonna put in the time, put in the effort, sacrifice whatever needs to be sacrificed to succeed at the thing. Now, the problem was the job, I hated it. It was cool, it looked cool until I got it, and then I'm like, oh man, this sucks. And I was empty. There was a very clear point. Actually, it was a super clear point. It's in the book, where I went and did a keynote for a group of parents at the local school district. And my takeaway from that keynote was, I can't do my job anymore. If I continue to do this job, I'll never be able to have that effect on people, or I might, but it's going to be just kind of here and there. And I need more of that. All of a sudden, there was a contrast between this work that fueled me and this work that drained me, but I didn't see it before that. And so when the work was eroding my soul, I just computed that as, well, that's part of the deal. I'm being loyal and I'm committed to my job. This is what that feels like. Mm-hmm. I was wrong and I couldn't see that, right? Mm-hmm. So what were the characteristics? What was I experiencing in that time? I hated getting up in the morning. Mm-hmm. Because I knew, all right, I got to go and argue with this freaking GC. I got to argue with my PM on this. I got to go write somebody up. It was Groundhog Day, and it was just oh man, okay, you got to go do it. Get up, make it happen. Get up, make it happen. And so it was very difficult. Did I continue doing it? Hell yeah, I kept doing it, because there was I had my reality. That was my reality, and I thought, I really believed I'm just being a badass employee. I'm being a badass superintendent, but I was miserable. I was sick. And also, for those of you that the Blue Hearts, if you don't know, I was also really deep into my addiction at that point in my life. And so, but looking back, I couldn't see it at the time, but looking back, I could see that I was so miserable doing this job with loyalty and commitment that I was numbing and masking what was really going on with it, which was a lack of connection and a lack of fulfillment. I was filling that with substances, with all kinds of vices, which again, it was an unsustainable model. And so for me, maybe that's a little darker than what most people experience, but that was the confusion that I had between my emptiness, that was actually what I was experiencing. And I thought it was loyalty and commitment. What do you think, Jen?
Well, Jesse, and I want to make I'm going to say disclaimer. because I know people are going to hear going, I mean, that's great, Jennifer and Jesse. Like, y'all got it figured out. Like, we are not saying that it's rainbows and sunshine and butterflies and that like you find that and then you don't have hard work and things don't suck and that you don't go, man, this isn't fun. Like that. Let's be clear. Like, we're not trying to say it's one or the other. We are trying to say that we know sometimes you're confusing things because you're trying to justify them. And what we're trying to do right now is kind of pull some layers back to be able to, of course, Denver, give him all the credit, give it to him. but pulling some layers back to go like, yes, there's days that I'm like, oh, like I just got to get through this. And and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's part of the process. What Steve said, is it helping me get better? Am I moving forward or am I taking 10 steps back because of the situation that I'm in or because of the people I'm around? And so I want to say that because you and I talk a lot about, I mean, we're 20, 30 years into our journey and we're 4 or 5 years into really being intentional about the spaces that we're in. And not everyone's in the same space we are. So just want to make sure we're going to talk about some things and you're like, yeah, but I'm not there yet. That's okay. Cause that's why we're talking about this is that we want you to be like, start thinking about, oh, I'm making a choice or I get to have a say. And I think we get in our corporate or our roles or our career paths. And it's just like, here's what I have to do. And I'm like, oh, but you still got a choice.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like it doesn't have to be that way.
Yes.
You know, my favorite question when people are reaching out of like, I have a leader that doesn't support me, blah, 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 blah. What do I do? I'm like, well, the easiest thing to do is go find another leader, man.
Yes.
Like for real. If you're in that situation and you don't have a lot of influence and a lot of leverage, I think the smartest thing to do is go find another leader. Now, if you've invested and you have a body of work and you do have leverage and you do have relationships, then that's a totally different set of conditions and a different strategy to like deal with the thing. But I love that you pointed out, like, depending on where we are on our path in terms of maturity and contribution, this may not like, there's some things to consider. We'll just say that.
And Jesse, we've watched this over the course of even our 4 years doing this. Also where you are in your vulnerability and what you're willing to share and also what you're willing to push back on. And there are people that sometimes like, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not willing to do, and that's okay because that's a learned behavior. Totally.
Now, I want to shout out another Hall of Famer.
Yes. Hello, Terry. Terry just retired.
What's that?
Terry just retired. So he's probably like sitting back and chilling.
I love that for him because he's freaking amazing. But he dropped the link to the YouTube channel. So apparently LinkedIn's acting wonky. If you're having problems on the LinkedIn, go to YouTube and search No BS, NO space BS and with Jen and Jess, and you'll find us. And if you need the link, Terry posted the link. Now, let's go a little. You want to go a little deeper, Jen?
Of course.
Or should I soften? Let me soften it up, and then we're going to go deeper.
Okay, soften it first.
So Christopher Johnson,
hello, Christopher.
He's back. He says, happy weekend. What's up, Chris? Thank you. Mr. Abbas, another old faithful. How you doing, my friend? He says, good morning. All right. Y'all better be ready because I'm coming for the kick in the teeth. And this one comes from Linda. Frankly,
go ahead.
People do that in marriages and friendships too. That's a heavy, big question. And so what I think Linda's talking about, or at least I'm going to contort it to this, is have you confused emptiness with loyalty and commitment? Jen, what do you think?
Oh, Jesse, this is one. We're in a little different situation than some people, but also yes, Linda, 100%. And like, we can't project what works for us on other people. And I think that, and those of you that have been in this journey with us know, Jesse and I we have consciously made decisions. We are not in we don't have significant others where we are in relationships and we are having to navigate through the emptiness versus loyalty piece when it comes to that type of relationship, because we've made a choice to not stay in an empty relationship. Is that a good declaration?
I think, yeah, absolutely. I mean, mine's more complex, not as well thought out as what you just said, but I mean, like for real, there's a lot of levels. And I'm just so people know how mechanical I am. If I think of it, when I think about the decisions I've made that have saved me the most money, deciding to be single is number one. When I think about the decisions I've made that have saved me the most time, deciding to be single is number one, right? Like it's that, but yes, everything else you said too. Like, you know, I want to sound human.
Not that it's just, again, we've been in and out of a lot of different things, just like most people do in their careers. Most people do in their any kind of relationships, friendships, and others. There's draining, and then there's filling. And we talk about filling cups, draining cups, how you're filling other people's cups, how are you pulling from other people, and I mean, we talk about that in relationship and talking about relationships. And I think sometimes we got our job and then we have these other things. And I think you and I have realized the integration of the relationships and connections we're building is exactly in the same world and realm of the work we do.
100%. And which is perfect, right? The question, have you confused emptiness with loyalty and commitment? That's kind of like the hard work question, right? I'm doing work that's sucking the life out of me, but because I'm loyal and committed, I'm just going to keep putting up with the bullshit and doing the thing. And then again, Linda, I love this, Linda. You got to keep hammering us that we do that. Like we put up with the emptiness for the sake of like, because we've confused loyalty and commitment with emptiness. Like it's not the same thing. What I love about what Linda's bringing to the table is similar to what you've just said, is that in every situation, it's a relationship thing.
Yes.
Right? Like if it's at work, it's a relationship thing. If it's with friends and family and significant others, it's a relationship thing. Right? There's humans involved. Here, so answer me this, Jen.
Okay.
Have you ever had to do shitty work? Like that you just didn't want to do, that there's no point, like you didn't have to do it. You didn't want to freaking do it, but you were with a group of freaking awesome people. You ever done that?
Yeah. So you're just like busy work or just something that like almost the grind, almost like I just got to get through this because I see what's on the other side of it. And sometimes the other side of it is just the trust and the connection and the accountability to the people I have around me.
Yes.
And sometimes you're just like, okay, wait a minute. But when you are working with amazing people, and again, I'm going to go back to not everything's rainbows and sunshine. Like some things suck. But when, Jesse, we've had this conversation, when you're in the trenches with some rock stars and you're doing it together, it's not so hard.
Exactly. And the inverse is true too. Have you ever had like an awesome assignment, something that, man, I really want to do that. I've always wanted to be a part of this, and but you're working with a bunch of scrubs and slack asses?
Yes.
What
and
is
I'm
that?
Like, y'all stand over there in that corner. Y'all over there, y'all look good. And let me get this stuff across the finish line because y'all are not committed. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's the right answer, but that's what happens.
Well, and so part of the point, going back to the question, right, is have you confused emptiness with loyalty and commitment? The people you surround yourself with are a major factor in that.
Right? I want to add to that. No. Bring the comment up. Before we move on to the next question, I want to add. So you're good.
This one, just kind of one more time on what Linda brought, right? Like we do this in our marriage and our friendships too. Are we over investing in this loyalty and commitment thing at our own cost, at the cost of our joy and our ability to serve others? think about that. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, to me, it's kind of layered. And so I want to, when you are in a place, go back, will you pull the question back up one more time?
Yes.
When you are in a place where you're getting up and you're feeling the empty, okay, you're feeling like this is not filling me, this is not bringing me joy, this is not my purpose. I'm going to ask you to look at it through, I guess, 3 different layers. Number one, we default to, well, this company sucks, or this company is not aligned with me. So that's the first thing we do, okay? Then we look at it as this job sucks. So my roles, my responsibilities, the things that I've been asked to do is not aligned with me. Yep. But the last thing we look at, which should be the first thing we look at, is the people that we're interacting with in our role, in our responsibility, and at the company. And we do it opposite of the way we should. When I'm miserable and I'm getting up in the morning and I don't want to go to work and I don't want to go and interact and do the things I'm asked to do, the first thing I should be asking myself is, number one, why? And I'm going to say 100% because I've been there, but you may not be there yet. So that's okay. Number one, the first thing will pop in your head. It's not that I have to sit in front of my computer and I have to get this deliverable done. It's either the expectation of the person I'm reporting to. It's either the team that I'm working with. Okay. Or it's the people around me that are either doing the hard work or not doing the hard work. But whatever it is, it's going to come down to most of the time a person, maybe even a group of people. So, you may go through all 3 layers. The person, this person I'm not aligned with either their expectations of me or what I thought this was. Then the roles and the responsibilities, then the company. And when you do it that way, sometimes it doesn't become this company is the reason or this role is the reason. And yep. I'm not saying that you're all of a sudden going to know exactly what you need to fix, but if it's a person or, something that has to do with another individual, then you get to make a choice.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't get to make a choice and rewrite the job description. You don't get to change the hierarchy and the structure of an organization and the leadership. You don't get to do all that. But when it becomes a person, then it comes down to a lot of the things that you and I teach and we coach the skills of, then it becomes that interaction between you and another human being.
Well, and I'm going to go a little deeper.
Do it.
Because what I'm hearing you talk about, and I 100% support, is freaking taking ownership of the situation.
Yes.
Right? Like, if I blame the company, what is that? I'm going to have a conversation with their EIN number?
Right.
There's nothing I can do to or about the company. If it's my role, okay, if we rewrite the job description, does that make it better? No. But when I think about what are the decisions I'm making, what are the things that I'm tolerating, now I have ownership. And because I'm getting tighter, that then helps me say, oh, maybe it's these people or the behavior, let's be nice, the behaviors of these people. Then now I'm equipped to take act because I can do something about that, right? I can have a conversation with them. I could quit. There's a lot of things I can do now. But if it's the company, there's nothing I can do about that. Or start your own company, right? Because there are some people out there that are in a phenomenal situation like this guy right here. He says he loves all his coworkers. That's me, and I'm a solopreneur, so of course I love all my coworkers. Oh my God. Okay. So I think we hopefully we hit that and it's clear to our people, but I also want to share some cheat codes, right? Some things to think about. And again, this comes from the tribe. Mr. Proffer says, investigate the EOS, delegate, elevate tool. Yep. Doing draining work is bad for business. So, and this is going to be perfect for the next question. So we're going to come back to that one, Terry. Mr. Milo says, to me, it's about living out one's vocation, right? And I think that there's I think that's a dense and meaningful statement, right? Living out one's vocation.
Don't you have a book about that?
I think I do. Something about becoming the promise you're intended to be. And you mentioned earlier, you mentioned purpose, right? What's our purpose? What is your purpose? And like straight up, you mentioned the book. That book is the story of me figuring out what my vocation was, or reconciling and coming to terms, discovering how I best serve others. Now, the timeline of that book is over like 15, maybe, I think it's at least 15 years of my life. I didn't write everything down, so there's no evidence. Don't worry, people. But it's just the big, gigantic milestones that got me to where I am today in terms of my thinking and my way of operating. And so living out my vocation, I was not doing that when I was in that superintendent role, right? I was doing a job and I was good at it, or at least I thought I was. Anyways, but it was not having the impact on the world that I'm having today. And it was not giving me the joy that I have today. And so figuring that out in that book, that's there's the story behind that, an idea to share that. But Milo said it, man. It's like, to me, it's about living out one's vocation. So how do you do that? First, figure out what the hell that is.
Sometimes it's hard to do in ourselves. Like Jesse, sometimes we find that out by having conversations with other people and by really listening and paying attention to. I had a conversation yesterday. It was interesting, with someone that was like, we're planning for an event, okay, and she's just and she made the comment like, I was talking to a different group of people. And they were like, oh, maybe we can just have Jennifer come in and she can help with blah, blah, blah. And this individual was asking me like, Jennifer, why do they do that? And because like, you're not the answer, you're not the button that like, they just need you in the room and everything's better. And so we were talking about it. And then she says, I think in their minds, it's your energy that's in the room. She goes, but it's really because you know how to talk to people. and it was a cool conversation, because I mean, I've kind of figured that part out, but right. if you've helped me get clear on the value that I can bring into a room, but sometimes what people see and why they bring you in and what, like having conversations and understanding your purpose and your value it is a process to help get there. But like people from the outside are maybe sometimes confused. So you getting clear helps me get to go yes and no. Yes, I'm happy to help you, or no, that is not helping me fulfill my purpose. But sometimes to get clear helps us then kind of eliminate some of the things that are pulling us in the wrong direction, that drain us.
Yeah, and I think something super important there is it's easy to kind of get enamored with what people want from you, because to be wanted is so, I mean, that's why I have so much joy, because of how many people want me. But to be wanted is, I mean, there's significance, right? It's one of the core things that we need. Do I want to feel significant? And so I'm going to go back to my time as a superintendent. I was good at planning. And because I was good at planning, I was good at fighting, I was good at pushing, I was good at those things. And that's what the job got from me. Mm-hmm. And I got recognized for that. Mm-hmm. And so I was distracted by the things I was good at, and people wanting more of that, rewarding, like the reward loop that it gave me, money, promotions, blah, 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 status. Like it gave me some stuff, but it was not giving me the fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And so we get confused by people wanting us and wanting the things that we're good at. And so what I had to figure out was, okay, I'm good at that, but I love teaching people how to plan. I love teaching people how to communicate, how to have the hard discussions with themselves and with other people. And when I finally saw the difference between what I was good at and what I loved, then I had to kind of reinforcing what you've touched on a couple of times. It's not like that moment I made a total transition in my life. From that moment, though, it freaking clear as day in my head, like, oh shit, I got to live different. Mm-hmm. And then it was another 10 or 15 years, maybe 20 now, to get to where I am today. So it doesn't happen overnight. It took a lot of different things because the situations I was in, I still had to do the job because of how much I was earning and how much I was spending. Like there was a lot of, messiness around it that we all experience. But the main point I want to say, and you help bring it up, is there is a difference between what you're good at and what people like from you versus what brings you fulfillment, what fuels you, and trying to figure out or delineate, I think is going to help people.
And will you bring the last question up just so we can kind of put a bow on this and move on to the next question? Is when you get pulled in, and if you're trying to still figure out your purpose, or you're wanting to say yes to things because you know it will bring value to others, okay? When you get done with whatever that yes was, how do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're saying yes to things because this is where I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to do. At the end, okay, you can document it, you can do whatever. Like just do a quick. You're leaving the room, you're leaving it, you're at home at night. How do you feel? Do you feel like, heck yeah, I just did this, or you're just like, ugh, like hopefully I don't have to do that again for a while. Like do a self-assessment and again, we have to do tough things sometimes. We have to work hard. Sometimes it's not fun, but are you having more of those days on just whatever those are, or is it like, heck yeah, let me do that again? What is this? I feel like I connected with somebody. I made a difference. Somebody had an aha moment. When I leave and I'm at home at night thinking about what I just did today, and I saw light bulbs go off, and I saw eyes that it got bigger, and people said things that they wouldn't normally say. Like, that is my purpose. That is what I'm supposed to be doing. And if I can see it and I can reflect on it, then I need to keep doing that.
Yep. Well said, Jen. Well said. So we give a couple more pointers and then we're going to the next question. So it's Linda again, bringing the heat. This is a good way to
this is really good.
The question we use around here is this purpose or punishment? 2 a.m. can be purpose or beating myself up, right? And so are you beating yourself up about whatever? There's something to examine there, right? Mm-hmm. If you're like 2 a.m., like, shit, man, like, oh, I'm excited. I got to do. Like, okay. So I think an important thing there is, and where this whole question comes from, is I'm obsessive. And I think, all my exes say you work all the time. And I'm like, no, I don't work all the time. Like, technically, here's my timesheet. Here's how many hours I get paid. Like, I could prove I don't work all the time. And I was right, like, correct. But I thought about work all the time. Yeah. Like, that's all I thought about. And that was the problem back then. Now, I still obsess about, my work, to use Milo's term, my vocation in life. I obsess about that incessantly. But I'm not neglecting everything around me like I used to, including myself. And I think for me, that is the most important thing, because I also know I'm not like normal people, like healthy people, in that I, spend time with family all the time or whatever. Like, I don't, it doesn't occur to me. A friend of mine, she actually did a timeline. She tested me to see how frequently I reach out. And she's like, Jesse, you have like a 4 to 6 week cycle between the times you reach out to me. And I know I don't. And she says, yeah. And she showed me. I was like, man, that feels like a long time. She's like, I know, I'm on the receiving end. And I'm like, she said, does it feel like 4 to 6 weeks? Do you plan it there? I was like, no, it feels like 2 or 3 days to me. She's like, oh no, brother. My point in saying that is I have been able to increase the frequency because of where I am now. Now, I made very dramatic steps in my life, like to design the life that I'm living right now. It wasn't by accident. It took a lot of work. And so this brings us.
Okay, wait, don't bring the question up yet. Because I want to add really quick to what you just said is, Jesse, when we're able, with purpose, with passion, with whatever it is we're doing in our work, it creates space for us to not have to live in the workspace, not at work. So like if I'm getting to do the things I want to do and my purpose and my passion and the things that fill me when I'm at work, then I can go and be somewhere else and not feel like, I got to go do this, or I need to hurry up and get this done because I need to get back to this. I feel like when you're feeling that way, it's because you're not getting what you need in the time that you're getting paid, the time that you're, the vocation piece of it, you're not getting it. If it is carrying over into everything outside of work.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to move on because I'll keep going too deep. And so again, I want to like some cheat codes, right? We're talking about like what it feels like, but okay, what the hell do we do? Another pointer here, Mr. Terry says, investigate the EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. There's a book, Traction and all. It's good stuff. The delegate, elevate tool. Doing draining work is bad for business. And so when it comes to the idea of business, and we're talking about making money, profitability, productivity, like all of those things, I think this opens the door to our next question.
It does.
Ooh. What responsibility do leaders have to eliminate empty work? And so, of course, I'm hope this is going to stir up the lurkers out there to like for real come on and leave their comment, leave their thought, because we're going to be doing the randomizer here in about 14 minutes or so. But for real, what responsibilities do leaders have to eliminate empty work? Because we know that it's going to impact business results. It's going to impact client relations. It's going to impact internal and external customers. It's going to impact freaking insurance if people are burnt out and miserable. Like it has real implications. And so, Jen, what do you think? What responsibility do leaders have to eliminate empty work?
Oh, okay. So there's two words that in my mind when I think about this, I want to say them, and then I want to talk about agency and autonomy. So those are the words when I think about this question. Because number one, I'm going to look at it from both sides. And I'm going to start with, if I have a leader that has given me those things, he or she is also not stopping and starting my work. They are not getting in the way. They are not trying to drive what direction I'm going if they've given me autonomy and agency. And for me, having a leader like that allows me to figure things out and to get where I'm supposed to go. As a leader, sometimes we feel that we've got to direct our people. Now, again, please understand, I'm very hypothetical here, and these are not in every situation, but I think sometimes we forget that going back to what Terry said, if we've delegated it and we've given it to someone because of their role, their responsibility, or that, hey, they're going to figure it out. One of the most simple things that a leader has said to me, and I didn't realize that that's what they were doing, but when they said it, it literally like made me realize like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Is I was having a conversation with the person that I report to, and we were talking about different things. And he says, Jennifer, my job is to get out of your way. And for someone, if you know me, like I'm kind of like this, and it's not that he's not watching and paying attention and like, okay, is that a line? Like we have conversations, but it's not to stop my work and it's not to derail anything that I'm trying to do. But if he trusts that I can do the job, or he sees the direction, like I think to answer this question, sorry, to bring it full circle, what responsibilities we have to eliminate empty work is, are you giving the people that you've delegated work to work that is not going to be better, to improve work, to move them along or move along the path or improve the process? Like if you're doing it just because that's what we've always done, or that I've got to feel like I have my hands on it. And again, I live in a different world than some people. Like stop and evaluate, like, is it helping? Is it fulfilling their purpose, their reason, their drive, whatever it is, their passion? Or are you just completely like you're just dictating what they need to do to get a paycheck so they can go home at night and get up and do the exact same thing the next day? I challenge you as a leader to do some self-evaluation. And if you have someone that's doing that to you, that's a hard conversation. And how do you tackle that? How do you go in and go, man, I just need a little space to kind of figure this out? So there's a lot there. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a couple things I want to like hammer on in the point you just made, and we got the comments coming in.
Okay, wonderful.
But what you just described require, like for both sides, requires the leader to be ultra intentional and jump in and really connect and understand their people deeply. That's a huge investment.
100%.
Right? That's a huge commitment. And that is a skill that needs to be developed.
Yes.
Right. And so I say that so that if you're on the other end of it and they're not, fueling your purpose, man, they're freaking learning how to do their job just like you are. Right? Like that's a real skill set. Now, from a business perspective, should the organization invest in helping develop those skills rapidly? Absolutely 100%. If you're not, then you get what you get. Now, on the other side of that, you talked about the individual being clear about what their purpose is and what their direction is and so forth. That's a skill too.
It is.
Right? And so, like, I'm going to throw you under the bus, Jen.
Do it.
How old were you when you figured out what your purpose and direction and decided this is my purpose and this is my direction? Were you like 11, 9 years old?
I mean, I'm 52 right now. I mean, maybe 50, 51, maybe. Not that I haven't been living it. Let me be clear. Like living it and being in it and just navigating through it and swimming and not drowning is different to me than that's my course, that's my direction, and I am being intentional on how I get there. Like I was living in the middle of it without even knowing it. But once I got clear and able to vocalize it and able to communicate it, then it's just like that's where I'm going.
Yeah. And thank you. I appreciate you being super vulnerable and honest with that. Because the point is, it's not that easy. It takes, on both ends of the table, it takes tremendous focus and growth, like internal growth, to be able to do or operate on both sides of the thing. Now, oh man, they're hammering us, Jen.
I mean, I know they're just like, I love it. Come on.
So now I'll say this. When it comes, I think about this, and maybe I'm saying the same thing and I'm just twisting words. But the question is, what responsibility do leaders have to eliminate empty work? And I'm told, like, I don't think it's the leader's responsibility to eliminate empty work, because guess what? Every stupid ass job out there has empty work in it. Right? Unless you love all of your coworkers, like, where's that guy? Oh, he disappeared already. Then you're in a very rare situation. But there's always empty work.
What is empty work, Desi? Will you define that for
Yeah. I'll give some example.
Okay.
Timesheets,
okay.
Expense reports, right? Replying to emails.
For necessary waste, maybe?
Yeah, but I don't know that everybody understands that framework.
Okay.
Right? Like it's just the bullshit that has to be done.
Okay.
Right? Like I would love to live stream naked, but I got to put clothes on because
and you have a co-host that will not allow you to do that.
And we'll have too many followers, and we'll lose the connection with people. So I got to do it. It's not something that I necessarily I want to do. It's just the things that we got to do, right? The incidental things that have to be done. So to me, that qualifies as empty work, right? Now we could go deeper and, all get into it, but I want to just keep it simple. And so I don't know that it's necessary. Like, how can you eliminate that, right? Question number one. But I think it's more a question of not how do we eliminate empty work, but how do we design in meaningful work?
Yes, that's a great point. Yes.
I think that's the game. And I can't remember which book it is. I think it's like the 5 geniuses work.
Oh yeah, I think somebody actually wrote it in the comment, but it's the 5 Working Geniuses by Patrick Lencioni.
That's the one. Yes,
somebody actually said it in the comments. Yes.
Oh shit, we got gangsters on the call, and so that's the question: is how do we design meaningful work in? Because there is going to be empty work, because there is going to be, just the freaking all-nighters, right? Shutdowns, and that is going to happen. But how do we design in meaningful work as a leader, right? So that we can have provide a more meaningful experience for our people. It's not to say that 1,000% of the time everybody has to be totally fulfilled and enamored with their job and just growing like flowers. Like, this is real life. And I think this is a mistake that a lot of us make, because I know I've made it too, is, I'm a huge advocate for fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And I have designed my life so that I can spend as much time as possible doing things that fulfill me. Mm-hmm. That required for me to start my own business. And I think that's the issue, is a lot of us expect our job to provide us with fulfillment. And that is an unreal expectation.
That's a bold statement, Jesse.
What do you think, Jen?
No, I completely agree. And I think that we look for it in it, which means we're looking for fulfillment in what other people can do and help us with.
Yep.
We don't look at ourselves enough. And so it's that statement in itself is, if you're looking for happiness outside of things that you have control of, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah. It's the same. My job is not to make you happy, but if I make you happy, it's in your best interest to keep me around. Right? Like, it's that easy.
Well, as a leader, and again, great comments, and I want to make sure we're bringing them, but as a leader, are you figuring out, if you're leading Jesse and I, and we're people that work with you, do you understand what Jesse needs? Do you understand what I need? Well, you can't do that if you don't know who we are. We don't have conversations. You haven't figured out this is what's important to me. Now, what's important to me may not be completely part of my roles and responsibility. But I'm going to tell you, 6 years ago, when I got the role that I have now, and I helped them write the roles and responsibilities. So I helped them create it 6 years ago. Now I'm going to say maybe 5% of that role, that job description is even relevant. and I helped them write it. So it's like, do we allow the evolution and what that looks like for people to be a part of their growth, or are we putting a round peg in a square hole? Like, that, to me, that's where the leaders can have some impact, and they can have some influence. And I think Linda even said, there was a comment over there that I feel
there's a lot of comments.
I know, but it was like, how, do we allow those things to happen throughout the process, or are we just plugging and playing? Are we just putting people in places and not realizing that, oh yeah, there's this human being over here that also has these passion projects or these things like that? And I think we, sometimes as leaders, forget that their job is not the only thing that matters to them.
100%. And I was one of those guys. Like, what do you mean you're going to go, your wife's having a kid? Like, you ain't doing nothing. Why you got to be there? Which, like, I've said that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we got some massive comments. Miss Carolina, what's going on?
Hello, I think it's the blue heart, but I don't know. So go ahead.
That's all right. She says, leaders must provide range, but at the same time, the more seasoned individual contributors who know what their passions are can co-create that. And you just said that, right? Like, co-create. I love that. Nice and concise. Co-create whatever the hell that is. For early career development, it is crucial that we provide projects that allow people to find that range, right? So a very tactical, very straightforward, this is what you can do as a leader to, like, minimize that empty work.
Yes.
But there's going to be empty work. So suck it up. Mr. Christopher Johnson, thank you, sir. He says a good leader can remove roadblocks and continue the strategy and mission. Amen. Right? Remove roadblocks, make green lights, put some fuel in the thing. And I think, one of the things that I've had the fortune of working with some freaking amazing leaders. Mm-hmm. And one of my leaders asked me, like, what do you want to do? And my answer was nothing related to the job. And he said, I told him, I said, what I see is me speaking to parents, students, and educators about careers in the trades nationally. It had nothing to do, it was kind of adjacent to the work that my responsibilities, but like not my job description. But what he did was like, well, how do you do that? I was like, I don't know. And so it was a conversation of which ended up becoming a podcast and, different things. And that happened. And so the fact that he was interested in something that I cared about deeply and just showed interest in it, massive, massive impact. There it is. Mr. Milo says, yeah, the Patrick Lencioni talks extensively about this, the 5 types of working genius. Again, designing that in, and that book talks about the red thread and making sure people are actually quantifies the amount of time people that in the best interest of the company for people to spend in their local, their genius. It doesn't have to be 100%. It's a small number, relatively speaking.
Yeah, what drains you, what fills you, and are you putting people in places that fill them versus people that they get drained? Okay. I don't know. What do we do another? Okay, here Chris is stirring it up. So I'm going to put this question up because Christopher's making me do it. And then we're going to do the randomizer. Yes.
It is randomizer time. Okay. I think this is it's a variation, but I think it's an important question. How can we make the empty work tie back to our purposeful work time? I think that's a really valuable
good question
or thinking exercise because we're going to have the empty work, right? Now, ideally, I'm going to say empty work is not as offensive or invasive as life-sucking work, but it's still there. And so how can we make the empty work tie back to our purposeful work time? That's a phenomenal question. That's a tough one.
I have a couple of examples, and we can answer it after the randomizer.
Okay. So it is randomizer time. If you made comments throughout today's conversation, and we got 21 people that did, let's see. Who do you think is going to win, Jen? Did you rig it again this time?
I didn't, but I have an idea in my head. I'm going to see if my.
Oh, here we go.
Is going to make it happen.
And I want to remind you guys, whoever gets selected is going to get a 1-month pass to the cultivation crew and emotional bungee. Yes, my favorite employee won.
Okay, draw again. Let's go. Come on.
Okay, darn it. We're going to draw again. I never get to win anything. One more time, y'all. It's because I made a comment earlier and it came through. Who's it? Who? Oh, Miss Angela. Oh, that is so awesome. Miss Angela, you are the winner of the randomizer. So I will be hitting you up with some calendar invites so that you can come hang out with the cultivation crew and the emotional bungee jumpers. And I also need to add, folks, there's more than one way to get access to that experience. You can sign up and be a part of the community. It is a paid community, but it is super ultra awesome. And I'll just give you a heads up. Most of the people that come and love it never leave. Right. And the people that don't love it, they never come back for a second one. So it's like, you're going to love it or you're not. Period. All right, Jen. So you had something before
I do. I have a couple, and it was going to be part of my wrap, but I think I can still weave in with some other stuff. So will you pull the question back up?
Yeah. The last question, right?
Yes. The one that Chris posed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So there's a couple of things that, one, in my world, it's necessary waste. So waste is obviously things that we can get rid of. And we get them, like just unnecessary waste, we get them out of the way so that people can do their jobs better. Necessary waste are things that kind of have to happen for us to still be able to do our jobs, but they're not our most happiest places. And so I call them necessary waste. And what two things that I have done that have helped people not so much hate it, but like understand how it's part of the process, which goes back to his question, is a value stream map. And so what that is get a room, we have a process, and the process is broken. The process sucks. People don't like the process. So we're going to, as a group, we're going to walk through every step of this process. And you're going to get all the, a good mix of people that have to touch the process. And we're just going to break it down a little bit at a time. And once you can visualize that on a board, on stickies, whatever you use, okay, and you have different people contributing to it because they don't do the whole process, they do pieces, then the conversations start happening on, yes, and this has to happen for this to happen. And then they start kind of seeing the mix of, okay, well, that makes sense that if we don't do this, then it hurts something downstream. And so when people can start understanding, yes, it may in their mind be empty work because it's something that doesn't impact them directly, but then they can start seeing how it may not be empty work for another person. Another person, the person over payroll that pays us, like the time cards are critical for them to be able to do their job. So to me, when you can visualize a process and start letting other people see how empty work in one spot may not be completely empty, for another person's job, they start seeing the value of it. So there's that piece. The other one is, and I'm going to challenge everyone that if you're a leader or if you have people that you work with and you're trying to tie back kind of that empty work or things that maybe have to happen, but people are not happy about it, I'd ask them, I would say, I wouldn't just start the conversation with them is, what do you love about your job? What do you hate about your job? What's the thing that just drives you crazy? And what do you want to learn more about? You're giving them a big, I guess, way to communicate to you. A glimpse of maybe something that brings them happiness and joy. A glimpse of things that, man, they hate having to do this. And then also, like, I'd really like to be able to do something here. And those are three very simple questions that don't get asked enough. And so people just get up, they suffer, they commitment and loyalty, and I'm just going to keep towing the line. And not many times does someone ask them, what do you love about what you do? What do you hate about what you do? And what is it something you want to learn more about that maybe is not right now in your circle, in your roles and responsibilities? It will open up some amazing conversations.
Amen. But you got to listen.
You got to listen. You can't just ask and then put it in a file cabinet or save it on your computer. Like when the data comes in, like look at the data, instead of the data, have a data and have a conversation about the data. Yes.
Now, Steve Martin says something about the after party. What is that?
Yes. So it's already out there. And I know that you usually share the links, but if you go on my page, if you go on No BS with Jen and Jess page, and even the YouTubes, I believe there is an after party. So after every live stream where you get to hear Jesse and I talk a lot, we have an after party, which is just a Google Meet, click a button. You don't have to have your camera on, but you get to kind of unmute and share. You get to talk about some things that you heard on this conversation and how you want to here's what I think, or hey, let me challenge the group with this question. So you get to help drive the conversation a little bit more than Jesse and I get to drive it on here. But what we do is that conversation usually leads to our next topic in 2 weeks. So whatever conversations happen in the after party, we then take that, Jesse and I talk through what was some threads that we can pull out of that. And then that becomes the next live stream topic 2 Saturdays from now. So we encourage everyone that's on this call, the new ones and the old faithfuls, to please just join. It's a click. Google Meet, you can just kind of have it on mute and then chime in when you have a thought. But we welcome everybody, even if you didn't make the whole live stream.
Agreed. And I'm glad the reminder, because I forgot to do the link. I'm doing the link now for the after party call, and it will be good. We may even dive into the question, this idea about balance, but we ain't got enough time today, and I'm okay with that.
Yes.
But there are, oh man, look, we got a bunch more. Oh, that's me, the stupid Jazz. There's a few other points here, and I think I'm just going to close.
Okay.
With 2 points, right? The uncommon communicator says, maybe I'm a little messed up, but empty work can be done with fulfillment when being performed in the right environment or culture. What do you think, Jen?
I mean, you know where I live and what I try to do to make that environment and culture the best it can be, to value the human beings that are in it. So I agree that sometimes it's a yes, and we're going to make it the best we can because we still have to do it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
And so what I want to kind of takes us back to the whole big picture, right? Is a lot of us are very, very committed to the people that we serve, that had that, and the venue for that to occur is in our job. Mm-hmm. And so externally, people will confuse that and say, oh my God, you just do too, but you don't understand. I'm getting fulfillment. Now, here's the thing, for the outside eye, it looks the same. When I was miserable and working my ass off and obsessing about worried about all the problems and whatever, or I was stuck in, I love this word, administrivia, like doing bullshit, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's what gets you the promotion, like blah, blah, blah. And miserable, I was still working enormous hours. I was still obsessed. But internally, what I was feeling was entirely different. But to the outside eye, it looks the same. And so back to what James said, it like for real, depending on the environment that you're in, like we said this already, if you're in a situation where you're drained and exhausted and just dread going back to work the next day, the easy button is find a better leader. I mean, and here's the beautiful thing, like specifically in construction, that used to be extremely difficult. It's like to find them. It's not as difficult as it used to be for 2 reasons. One, they're visible on social media. You can go and interact with people that work for that firm or outfit and say, hey man, like, how is it? Like, does their website do they operate the way their website says they do? You can get real intel to understand like what that's like over there. And they're super accessible, super visible. And there's a growing number of people-centered, people-focused leaders that are actually designing the work to better serve the people, designing the employee's experience. And so if you're in the misery state, you ever seen the movie Misery with Kathy Bates?
Yes.
Oh, I love this movie. Ultimate. So if you're in the misery, chained to the bed with the blocks between your ankles, and she's got that sledgehammer, and you're hoping she doesn't swing, don't hope, man. Start hunting, start looking around, start interacting with people, because you don't have to be there. I know it's easy for me to say that. And believe me, I know how difficult it is to leave a place. But what's more important is that you land in a fertile environment, in an environment that is going to nurture your soul, so much so that the empty work is not that big a deal, right? So much so, or they've taken tactical measures to, like you said, to map the value stream and help everybody understand the connectivity between the things and the necessary. And more importantly, they stay focused on the intended outcome.
Yes.
Who are we trying to serve? What problem are we trying to solve? What does winning look like? And continuing down that path, you'll have a different life. Am I lying, Jen?
Nope, I think you're right. And I'm just going to circle back around to my points. If you're a leader, ask your people, What do they love about their job? What do they not like about their job? And what do they want to learn more about? If you're in a position to where you are maybe not asking people that, go into your performance evaluations with the answers to those questions and use that as part of the conversation.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and I'm going to do one more and then we're out.
Okay, now, do it.
The music ready? And so if you're doing this and you're worried that it's going to rub your bosses the wrong way, tell them Jesse said. That'll get it. You'll get it over. All right, Jen, you got the music?
Ready.
All right.